body heat,
It will get
absolutely.
warm.
Yeah.
If I put it around my shoulders.
I like it. It's good.
Contact with you guys.
Mine is definitely.
I'm thrilled to see you all. It's so nice to be back here in person. Am I creating some fake narrative to find a version of life that I can live with? Or is that just what we have to do? Create a version of life that we can live with so that we can live?
So it's not so much what happens, it's how you react to it.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm hearing from both of you there.
Yes.
So it's always the story we create around it. You know, if myself included, I'm always struggling with this. If we could perceive, you know, engage in perception, see things as they are, without conception, without my story interfering. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We tell ourselves all these stories in our mind.
And one of the first, he said, papers, he opened a box, and one of the first documents he took out was a famine plea. And it was from the townland of Clonahee, where my father lives, where his family have lived for hundreds of years. And it was from 1846, and it said, we're starving, we have no food, we went to the border works, they turned us away, we don't want to do anything contrary to the laws of God or the land unless pressed to by hunger. And he put the document back in the box, and he went to Olive, and he said, at the time they were about to, Mealy's were doing an auction to sell off all of the contents of the house. And he said, I'll buy the contents of the house if you leave the papers. And in that moment he knew he was going to tell the story of the famine, which hadn't been told at national level at all, and isn't really the business of a private person.
Thank you.
That's it.
And then she told me that's this month. You can send me a link, I think. All right.
Get done in a few minutes. So it's not 10 minutes isn't necessarily the target. It's as long as the maximum. So if you're a talker,
Pick up all of the piece. Then we're actually rolling. We are rolling right now.
No, it's only rolling.
Hey Owen,
Hey,
how's
Owen.
things?
people I know.
How are you feeling right now?
Good.
Yeah?
It's like the usual feeling that ships set sail and conversations are happening. So
Okay.
now it's in the land of the adults to talk to each other and describe and discuss purpose. That you try and internalize, but it's the lived experience of what it actually means plus that.
Yeah.
So that's why I advise people to read the literature, not so that they're going to kind of write a review of what somebody else said, but more they just take the chunks of it that mean something to them and then write it from their own heart.
Yeah.
Or if you write it from your own heart, you get stuck after paragraph 1. You run out of things to say, and then you have a prompt or by a book and say, oh, that makes lots of sense. So in order to even think about purpose, because you start thinking about purpose and you kind of go, that's the end result.
Yeah.
And like, how do you get there? It's a journey, and it starts with introspection. And that is really hard. To know yourself is very difficult.
But even if you look at the angles of the titles of all of the different interpretations, you know, what's the purpose of purpose, self-purpose, you know, all of those different, you know, is there a purpose to purpose, you know, group purpose, unit purpose, self-purpose, you know, all of those sort of things. There's a massive diversity in the direction, all from that one core word. Everybody interprets it with a different meaning, as last night bore out by the discussion.
And then lots of people just describe it in different words. So you don't think they're describing 4 steps, but you read it and kind of go, you just described.
Yeah.
Like Tom Murphy in his, you know, he describes quite in detail how you look at yourself. and importance. But it's a long lead into it, and then it's like almost a dawning, and I suppose kind of going, yeah, like before I even start this, I need to know me.
Yeah. That kind of descriptive term from last night's conversation, which was, you know, one of the speakers was saying, there was a gentle hum in the background that I couldn't ignore. And then that was the lead in for her purpose. You know, massive insight into self.
I found last night interesting because, like, quite often in my own post I spoke about, you normally wait until something catastrophic has happened before you think about it.
Yeah.
You know, for some people they spoke about it being one day they're walking in the street and said, I'm now comfortable with me. Or somebody has passed away, and death came up quite a lot last night. And so I think a lot of people it'll bring up emotions.
Yeah.
Where they kind of think, and it's maybe even just acceptance. I kind of go, I now accept that this happened to me. It's, as Stephen Costello spoke about, that, you know, the pain matters, and you should capitalize on the pain and then let that lead you into something else. And there's one workshop I was hoping to do this year, and I never got around to it, which is it's kind of like the legacy, but it's essentially writing your own obituary, which is what happened with Mr. Nobel of the Nobel Peace Prize. And he woke up one morning and he saw his obituary written in the paper, and he thought the obituary was going to say that he's a really successful business person, which he was, but the obituary wrote about him creating devices that blew up people and killed people. Yeah. And he was so shocked by it, he created the Nobel Peace Prize. So he actually rewrote his purpose, because what people remembered him by was quite different. And I wanted to do a workshop on that where people write, like, what would people say about you now if you died? And write, and then look at it and kind of go, is that what you want it to be?
This is my type of space, you know, it's purpose driven by definition, you know, that the idea of it is to bring people together, but I just love the peer-to-peer contact, that everybody here has an opinion on it rather than just having one or two people who are considered, in inverted commas, experts in the space. It's very communal. The whole idea behind it is that we learn and grow from each other. It's multidisciplinary. It's very much the type of place that I want to be, and I don't think we have enough of them in the world at the moment. So nearly everybody in a variety of different ways has discussed, and obviously most people who are here were middle-aged and beyond, you know, so there's a bit of life history behind us, that we've all come to a conclusion of how we want to show up, you know, that there has been purpose has shown up in a way that we have decided, but also where we're trying to be better people in the world. And that seems to, regardless of the story and regardless of what definitions people put on it, that seems to be a key theme, that I'm here because I want to show up in a better way, and I'm still trying to navigate that, you know.
viral lecture video.
Oh, just like.